Hey, folks, welcome back to the Tesla Talks podcast. Another week, another podcast, a lot of Tesla information and news and stuff like that. We have a special guest on tonight, but before that, we have to get our regular guest out of the way, at least his introduction. We don't have to get him out of the way, just his introduction. Nice to see you, Franklin. Thanks for coming on again.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. That's it.
Yeah, that's it. Sorry, I was just looking. You already have a downvote. We just went live.
I know, probably because we were late. Probably because we're 7 or 8 minutes late. But who cares about that? That's going to happen. Welcome to YouTube world. We have a special guest on tonight, and his name is Rob. We call him High Mileage Rob. You may not have heard of him, or you may have heard of him. He's got one of probably, is it the most or the second most mileage in Canada at least? Hey, Rob, how are you doing?
Hey, how's it going, guys?
I should say hi to you first before I ask you all the questions. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me. It's
no problem.
Great.
Wanted to have you on for a while, and we've been talking for weeks, if not months now, trying to get you on there. But you're just too busy driving everywhere.
So I was driving out tonight as well, and I came home just for this.
Yeah. Oh, I thought for sure that we'd get you on the show, like in your car, like while you're driving. So I'm glad we were able to nail you down.
So what are you up to? Kilometers or miles?
Let's get that out of the way right now.
I checked today, 177,200. So getting up there. 110,000 miles approximately.
That's
177,200 divided by 1.
And you're not like Mark. You don't do laps around the block, right? To increase the
Oh yeah, FSD in and out of the garage all night long, right?
So you said 177,200?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's almost 111,000 miles. So yeah, and you've had when did you get your car?
June 7th, 2018.
Jesus, you got your car after me.
Not much. You couldn't have had it much. Maybe a week.
Yeah, exactly. I got it on the 31st.
Right. A lot of people did.
30th or the 31st? I forget now. I should know this.
Dax, that's disappointing. It was the 30th.
My car is going to hate me now.
It was the 30th.
It was the 30th.
Yeah. I remember mine because it was election day here.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
June 7th. June 7th.
Right? That was an iffy time because of all the stuff that we had going on at the time.
But we lucked out, right? Now your car, sorry, we shouldn't be talking about ourselves and backtracking. But you know what? It's sometimes good. I'm just in one of those moods tonight. Just sometimes good to just reminisce and just chill out and talk about stuff. So it may be a weird podcast tonight, folks, because I'm in one of those weird moods that I don't even care. I don't care anymore. Looking at all the mayhem going down south, and to all our U.S. friends, congratulations on your election, however you voted, and congratulations on however it turns out, because nobody knows yet.
That's so tight.
Yes, there's a lot of jokes there. So getting back to you, Rob, what kind of car do you have?
It's a 2018 Model 3 long range, white, FSD. So I don't have the FSD update yet, but nobody does in Canada.
No, and we're gonna get to that. Franklin, you want to ask him a couple of questions you want, and I will get a picture of his car up here.
Yeah, sure. So I was talking a little bit about this before we went on air. There's the Tesla Lab app that actually saw you on. It wasn't stalking; it just happened. Like you loaded up and you look at the leaderboard, you're at the top, right? Where are you now? Do you know? I think you're like 6.
I don't know. I used to be at the top, and then there was someone who jumped in front of me, and then my car was in a crash, so I didn't drive it for 5 weeks.
Okay, so I think that might be why you dropped a little bit. I think you're still in the top 5, but do you know any of the other people that are up there with you?
No clue.
Okay.
Okay, so sorry. Say who's number 1?
I don't remember off the top of my head.
No, not names. Oh, sorry. What's number 1? Like, what's the mileage? I thought you
was it like 290,000 K or something?
Yeah, something like that.
And I think he lives around here in Southern Ontario.
Yes. Okay. I spoke to him a few weeks ago via email, back and forth, and he lives around us. Let's just say I don't want to. I'm respecting his privacy, so I don't want to give too much away. But he lives around us, somewhere between you and I, Rob. So he lives in Southern Ontario, in the just outside the Greater Toronto area. And he travels to and from the border, if not sometimes across the U.S. border, daily, if not multiple times a day, if I remember correctly. So yeah, he puts on and all he does is exclusively supercharge, and he supercharges at least once a day. So
I think
amazing.
You know what's kind of incredible if you think about it, because Mark's up there too. Mark would be in the top 10.
Mark's got about 100. What's he say? About 130, 140.
140-ish.
Yeah.
Which, when I check, he'd be top 10 as well.
When
It's
we
kind of
say
incredible
Mark,
that 3 out of the when we say Mark the backseat baller,
yes.
we have 3 of the top 10 most driven Model 3s in the Ontario area, which is kind of incredible.
That are using that app.
Fair enough. That are using the app. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I'm sure there's others out there.
Apparently, it's a pretty good app. I use Stats app, but did you mention what app it is to all our listeners at home?
I have, yeah.
You did? Okay. Yeah. No, apparently it's a good app.
TesLab.
TesLab. Yeah.
Yeah. There's so many different ones. I kind of wish Tesla would actually. Now we're on the topic of high mileage cars and stuff like that. This is something I actually wanted Tesla to do. I want them to gamify driving, where people who drove more, there would be like in-car achievement. Like you get a profile for your Tesla account, for example, and there'd be achievements for like most mileage driven. You get like a special gold one because you have the most in an area or something. Most efficient drive, most superchargers, most different superchargers, so on and so forth. They can literally turn driving into like an RPG game where you like imagine like Pokemon Go, but with your car only.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, TesLab does that sort of stuff. I get these awards all the time.
Yeah, but I was saying more like along the lines of it built into the car, like onto the screen itself from Tesla, so you can actually see like a global. I guess it still have to be opt-in because you don't want people's data, but I don't know. I just think the whole concept's kind of cool.
Yeah, no, that it does sound interesting. So, Rob, here's a picture of your car on the screen there as we chat.
Right.
Those are cool rims. Those are, correct me if I'm wrong, those are T Sportline?
That's right.
Yeah, nice. And yeah, keep in mind all his mileage that he's done, like he said, 2018, June 7th until now, but he was off for over a month where the car was being repaired after a collision.
Horrible Audi A4. Just,
I know.
It was awful.
I hear you, buddy. Now, your car is white, as we can see in the picture there. For people at home that aren't watching us and just listening to the podcast after the fact, he's got a white, like you said, Model 3 long range. Now, what was I going to ask you? Oh, I've lost my train of thought.
I regret the white.
Why? Why is that?
Because now everyone's got white.
Oh, okay. Well, because white.
I wish I had silver.
But it's such a nice. Oh yeah, because of the rarity of the silver. But white's an awesome looking color. I really like white. And yeah, what you're gonna find is what you're already seeing is majority of the Ys coming out are white.
Yes.
It's just so expensive, and people don't want to spend the extra $1,300 here in Canada. Oh, I remember what I was going to ask you. So up to this date, with 177,000 kilometers, 110,000 miles, what's the what kind of work have you done? Like what maintenance have you done on the car, or expenditures have you done?
Right. So I think around 160,000. I cleaned my brakes. Instead of paying Tesla, I just did it myself. Took the brakes apart and got in there with the brush and lubrication.
And then that's what caused the accident, right?
Yeah.
Wow, Dax.
It was kind of a F-150 that went straight through a red light and T-boned me. So that was 15,000 in damage. And what else? Upper control arm, driver's side.
Upper control arm. Shocking.
Yeah.
That's
shocking, right? Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Squeak, squeak. And then recently the charging port. So charging port stopped opening. I would have to pry it open manually.
Yep. That's it's another known issue.
So that part was $240 from Tesla, and I changed it myself.
Was it fairly simple?
It's not that if you know what you're doing, as soon as you know what you're doing, you can do it the second time easy, right?
Of course.
First time is maybe an hour, but second time 15 minutes.
And you're here, so you didn't electrocute and kill yourself. So that's good.
No, but I was playing with the high voltage wiring. Fun.
Okay, well, that's not recommended. And when, you know what, I've never asked you, and we'll, after this, we won't pepper you with questions. We'll get straight into the news. What I never asked you is, do you remember the date, not the exact date, but roughly around when you went out of your warranty, your 80,000 or 50?
Year one.
Yeah.
The first month, Dax.
No, I think I had it just over a year, and I don't know. It was just out of warranty. And then, so I haven't actually, the upper control arm wasn't covered under warranty, and neither was the charge port door.
Yeah. But that's good. So with 100 and well, let's round up. So almost 200,000 kilometers, you've had. That's all the issues you've had, if you want to consider those issues.
Those are the most major issues. When I took delivery of my car, it had a couple of paint defects.
Yeah, like that's all.
Front bumper, rear bumper. So they repainted them. So other than the paint defects, not too much. And then at about 160,000, I also PPF'd the car myself.
Okay, well that's just
so. Yeah, but I didn't have really rock chips or anything. It was in good shape after 160,000. You know, people complain about the quality of the paint and how it just flakes off and stuff, and I haven't had any of those issues. But I didn't protect it very well from the start, but I never really had anything coming off.
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah, you know, I mean, the paint, we can get into a whole topic about the paint in itself and have a whole episode or show about paint quality. Yeah, it's not the greatest, but yeah, it's not as bad as everyone. Everyone makes it sound like you touch it and you put your fingernail into it and it's going to sink into the paint. No, it's not. It's not like wet paint, folks.
My Civic was worse.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have an important question for you.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, and it might be a little personal. If you don't want to answer, you don't have to. Do you have a Cybertruck on order?
Me? 2.
Of course he does.
I have 2 Cybertrucks on order.
Nice.
Which ones?
A dual motor and a tri-motor.
Oh,
okay.
Yes.
FSD on both.
What's your reasoning?
What's my reasoning?
Yeah, for 2.
I might Turo 1.
Okay.
So
it's a good reason. I'm not judging. I got 3, one of each. So
yeah, and that's why he was asking you. He's thinking of you as competition.
I originally ordered 3.
No.
I originally ordered 3, but one of each. But I realized I was ridiculous, and I canceled the 1.
So my thought is you want one of each because whatever one they can deliver first is the one I'm taking, right?
Yeah. And that's why I had rear-wheel drive to start, because that one was coming first. And then he changed his mind and said dual motor and tri-motor coming first. So cancel the rear-wheel drive.
Yeah, let me know how that goes for you guys. Having your orders in and expecting to be getting it first. Just ask Ryan Shaw how that worked out for him.
You know, I didn't finalize my order on my Model 3 until a week before I got it. And they got it to me in a week.
Exactly. That's my point. Exactly.
But I think it was based on my reservation number. I think they prioritized me.
I don't know.
I'll give you an example, Dax. We took delivery on the same day, but I could have took delivery like a week before all the international deliveries.
They asked you, yeah?
Yeah, the reason why I couldn't is because I couldn't get insurance because the insurance companies didn't have the car in their system. So Tesla wouldn't give me the car because I don't have insurance, and the insurance company said we can't put the car on there until you take delivery. And I was going back and forth. I'm like, guys, one of you has to give in here. So,
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
See, learning new stuff about you guys.
So they do prioritize a little bit.
Hello. Like I said, I've heard numerous stories, and Ryan Shaw is only one of the ones I know that was public about it. But I've heard stories where, yeah, they had the reservations, one of those day one reservations, and you have like a week or 2 before or after someone else that just last month put in an order.
It all depends on where you live, right?
Yeah. Well,
keep in mind, like
yes and no. I don't. You know what? No, I was gonna say yes and no just to be flight. But no, I don't think I don't know. I think when it comes to Tesla, when it comes to deliveries and they're launching something, like when they launched the 3 and the Y to some extent, well, actually the Y, and I don't think the Cybertruck's going to be any different. It's going to be one of those scrambling, chaotic situations. It's just, they're just going to randomly pick who they're giving it to first. Like, I don't think reservation numbers are going to make.
No, I think location makes a difference.
Location.
Well, the first person, do you guys know the first person, and we're getting off on a tangent here completely, but the first person that got the car here in Southern Ontario or in Canada, his name was Steve Lloyd. And if I remember correctly, Steve can correct me if I'm wrong. Not that he listens or watches the show. He's in the Facebook group. I talked to him many times. He, if I'm not mistaken, he ordered his car within 6 months of when he got it. Whereas everyone else, all of us, we'd ordered it 2 years prior.
Lined up at the store.
Yeah, we had some people lined up and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
When I say location, I didn't mean for us. We're going to get it all in the same batch. The first batch of them were going to be for people that live out next to the factory.
No, and I get that. Yes, no.
Yeah.
California,
actually, no. Sorry, correction. The first batch can be for employees.
Texas, yeah,
and then
right.
Yeah, no. That down in the States, States will always prioritize anyway.
We'll be 3 months, 4 months behind.
Well, if you think, they haven't even finalized the design yet. There's still tweaks that are happening.
Exactly, and you've caught me off guard here. Franklin always does this. He always catches me off guard. What we're basically saying, folks, is we're going to get into the news now. And the first news article, and I should silence my phone, is the Cybertruck design. Someone had asked Elon on Twitter, and this article is brought to us by Drive Tesla Canada, by the way. Someone asked Elon on Twitter something about the Cybertruck. Like, where is it? That wasn't it. Said the new design. No, they asked, why are you messing around with the Cybertruck design again? It was perfect just the way it was. Elon responded and says, new design is better with minor tweaks. Even the smallest details matter. And then someone had asked him, when are we going to see these tweaks? And he said, sure. Or are we going to see these tweaks or something like that? And he said, sure, maybe in a month or so. So that was 3 days ago, November 1st. So we could be using Elon time, or we could be using the new updated Tesla timeline, which has been pretty good and been pretty, pretty actually overestimating or underestimating, or whichever one it is. But basically, they've been surprising all of us with their timeline. But so maybe it sounds by the sounds of it, guys, correct me if I'm wrong, before the end of the year, we may see some update and some new pictures or something like that.
Elon's a pretty smart guy. I want to say he spaces this out for when there's like when I say slow, there's not really a slow week in Tesla, but when there's less news, he's just going to drop it. This guy's like a master marketer.
No, it's true. He is.
Right. So he's like, think about it. He just dropped a tweet that's teasing something that's upcoming, which is generating headlines. And then eventually he's going to be like, oh, let's create more headlines. Right. So,
yes, I hear what you're saying. It doesn't take much to get headlines for the Cybertruck, though, because everyone is clamoring over this. The more information they can get about this truck, the better. And then not just the people like us that have reservations or orders on these things. It's the whole industry. The whole industry is just enamored with the Cybertruck.
I think the coolest thing is going to be the people that don't aren't coming from an existing Tesla. Like, I'm excited to get mine.
Yes.
But I feel like the biggest upswing is going to be people that are coming from existing trucks that are converting over when they realize, like, all the cool things that it can do that they're not used to, right?
Yep. Yeah, exactly. It's now you've got 2 on order, right, Rob, you said?
Yeah.
And every time I talk to you online, the Cybertruck, even if we're not even talking about Cybertruck, you always get excited about the Cybertruck.
Do I?
Yeah, it seems like you do, and I'm not faulting you at all. I mean, it's good. It's good. I'm glad you are, because I am too. And any chance I get to talk about it, and any kind of little news like this little thing, like if this was any other car company, do we lose somebody?
I put him back, Norris.
Yeah. Sorry.
You're good.
Yeah.
Oh.
So any other car, what I was saying was any other car company that would CEO that would make this kind of just like a little thing saying something like, we're going to release this in a month or release that in a month. They wouldn't get all the kind of headlines like Tesla's getting or the Cybertruck's getting. I mean, it's just, or maybe it's just Elon, like Franklin was saying.
I have some opinions on this. I think the changes are probably going to be very minor, and I see the headlines and they're showing Photoshops of the truck looking completely different. It looks like a Rivian, or it looks like a Nikola Badger or whatever. And I think that's just whatever. I think they're adding mirrors, they're changing the steering wheel, and they're making minor tweaks that you won't be able to tell unless you had the concept prototype right next to it.
Exactly. Yeah, no, you hit the nail on the head. That's exactly what you're doing, Rob. Anyone thinks that this truck's gonna come out and look more traditional, like a traditional truck. Or there was one article, and I wish I could find it now. I forget what company it was that put an article, and they had one of those gray renders of what some guy, and it looked like a cool truck, but very traditional, like space age traditional. And it was a render before the truck had even come out, back prior to November of 2019. And they put that on the headline. They put that on there. It's like,
it's Tesla Roddy or something.
Was it Tesla Roddy? I mean, and I like Tesla Roddy, don't get me wrong, but for them to put that kind of stuff out, like, I mean, come on. It's not, you're exactly right. Now, one other thing they were talking about that they may do, because someone on Twitter had asked Elon and he said he'd think about it or something, was the mid-gate. You hear about that? The mid-gate, where it's not the tailgate where the end of the truck is, but within the cab, not even a cab, between the cab and the bed. And I know Tesla doesn't call it the bed. The trucking industry calls it the bed. Tesla calls it the vault. But within there, what somebody wanted to Tesla to do, or ask Elon to do, is have that back, I guess, separating glass or metal or whatever, where the back of the seats in the second row would be fold down, just like a SUV, where the back seats fold it down like that, and then you can use the whole 6.5 feet of the bed or the vault. But if you needed more, you can use up to even more space. So you've got probably another 3 feet, so close to 10 feet. So if you have extra long cargo that you need to put in there, if you're using the truck for work purposes, and you need to haul like long things that you don't want it to stick out the bed. So and Elon actually said he'd think about it. So that would be an industry first, would it not? Like, I'm not a big, huge truck guy, so I don't know the whole ins and outs, but correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think another truck has that kind of feature. You're
the only one of the three of us who owns a truck, I think.
Yeah, yes. And I can tell you, my Tacoma does not do that. And I had a Tundra before. My Tundra never did that. So
I'm not sure. I don't know how to answer that.
But that would be a cool feature. I don't know if that would take away from the design or the strength or the integrity of the exoskeleton. I maybe not, but like, there's got to be some kind of structural thing with having that there, you would think. Or I don't know.
Can we go back? Go ahead.
I think I heard some rumors, or maybe I thought I heard something that they might redesign the back end a little bit, because the back end's a little bit awkward.
The back end is something a lot of people have issues with. I mean, let's face it. A lot of people that have issues with the truck in general is the overall polygon shape,
right?
Whatever. But some people that say, "Oh yeah, no, I love the truck on every angle except for the back." I've heard a lot of that.
Right.
So I don't know.
That's me. That's me. Yeah.
Yeah. Someone said they want them to stamp Tesla in the back of the tailgate, like how.
Yes, please.
No, that's
giant.
Cheesy. No, because every car even Toyota and Tundra and Tacoma, I don't know if Ram was the first to do it or Ford was the first to do it, but everyone followed suit, and it's just I don't know. It would be cheesy to follow everyone, and Tesla, obviously, by the design of this monster, doesn't follow everyone. You're going to say something, Franklin?
Yeah, I was going to say, I want to go back to something that you guys touched on in terms of changes. So I think the steering wheel is definitely going to be changed.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not convinced that the side mirrors are going to be added.
Huh.
So European laws, and I know we're not in Europe as I say this, and the trucks might not even make it there, but European laws have the cameras approved, like from a legal standpoint, that can replace the mirrors. And I know that they're fighting for it in Canada. I don't know about the US. And I imagine if they're fighting for it here, there has to be a fight over there too. They want to make it legal where you can use cameras instead of side mirrors. And just from an efficiency standpoint, it makes a lot of sense.
Oh yeah.
So I mean, if the law is passed by the time it comes out, and again, I'm not a legal expert by any means, and I can be well off, but I do remember reading this where there is a possibility.
Yeah, the possibility is there. From what I understand, that the regulations and that kind of stuff and the bureaucracy is red tape and stuff like that would probably take a while. Like, yeah, they are probably actively doing that. I don't know if that's a countrywide thing or if they have to go state by state. Like here in Canada, the same thing. I mean, Transport Canada does a lot of stuff, but a lot of rules and everything are governed by province. So that could be a holdup for them. Now, my thing is, we all know Tesla hates side view mirrors. Or side mirrors. Like if they could on all their cars, they would delete the mirrors for efficiency, right? They want to get the best efficiency and less drag. And we know that the mirrors create drag, albeit a little bit, but in an EV, drag makes it a big difference. So they may want to do it, but I think Tesla would do the responsible thing and have something like a plan B. Like maybe hoping that it won't, but they've got to have some. They don't want to be caught with their pants down before they release the car and they don't have mirrors. Like, oh, hey Joe, we got to slap some mirrors on this sucker. You know what I mean? And then next thing you know, the mirrors are just like, not that that's Tesla's style, but you never know. Like you don't want to put yourself in that position. I can't see Tesla doing that. So the mirrors, yeah, as much as I'd like to see the way it is without the mirrors, I like your picture back there, by the way, Franklin. And
yep.
Perfect way to not see. No, you're fine. Yeah.
I don't see any mirrors there.
Yeah. What was the other thing? Oh, now, like I said in all my videos, I did a video just a couple of days ago. Ride the Lightning podcast, the unofficial Tesla podcast. If you guys haven't heard about that, then I don't know what rock you're under. But Ryan McCaffrey, he runs that, and he got in his latest podcast did you guys, before I go on, the two of you guys, you've heard it, you've watched.
I know who he is. I haven't seen his.
I was listening to that podcast today in my car.
Okay,
I was riding around.
So he has this insider scoop or whatever it is that he got a scoop about some of the little changes, and one of the things that came up was the steering wheel, which we all knew. I mean, from a standpoint of it not being legal in some states, it's beyond that. For anyone that needs to use a truck for a utilitarian aspect and in a way where it benefits someone to do it for practical reasons, that kind of design steering wheel doesn't work when you're towing something and you're reversing and you've got your hand over here and you're reversing. You can't have a yoke steering wheel. You need a round steering wheel where you can do the whole fact. And like, remember what your dad used to do in the never. I might date myself too much. So the steering wheel is a given. But what the most interesting, the most exciting thing I heard from that, and correct me if I'm wrong, guys, is he said that from the tipster that he was talking to, that they may get rumored 560 miles out of the tri-motor.
Yeah, I heard that.
That got me so excited because I don't have a tri-motor on order. I only went for the dual. That's all I need. But I noticed last time I checked, and it was just a few months ago, I checked on the website, the Tesla website, and I don't know if this was always like this from day one. I don't remember. That's why I went to check to see what it says currently. And as of a couple months ago, if you look at all the trim levels for all the Cybertrucks, the single, dual, and tri, their ranges all have pluses right after them. So whether it's 250 or 300 or 500 miles, they all have pluses. So, and we know that, like we know Tesla is always known for giving one number and obviously on delivery day or final production exceeding those numbers. They did it with the 3, they did it with the Y. I don't know about the S and the X. That was a little while back. My memory doesn't serve me right, but they always exceed. So I knew they would exceed it, but from 500 to 560, I did the math, and that's almost 900 kilometers here in Canada. Can you imagine having a car that has a 900 kilometer range?
So who needs that?
Exactly. Well, no.
I'm serious. I drive a ton, 80,000 a year, and 500 is more than I need. No, I don't understand this 900 stuff. Like who possibly needs that? I want the tri-motor for the power, not for the range.
Yeah. No. Here's the reason it got me excited, and I think this is the reason why a lot of people would want the range. And once again, this is all speculation because we don't know, but it's pretty much educated speculation from what we know of when you tow something, you lose range, and you lose anything from 40 to 60% of your range in ICE vehicles, and in that it's called mileage or fuel efficiency. But the same, we've seen it with the, I guess the only closest thing to compare to is the X right now. It has a 5,000 pound towing capacity. We've seen that towing on some of the YouTube channels like TLF, and there's this new channel, Electric Family, where they tow trailers and they tow different things. And you're losing like 60, 70, sometimes it depends on the grade, sometimes 70% of your range towing. So yeah, you're right. 900 kilometers, you don't need that for just regular every day. But if you're going to tow, and let's just assume, once again, this is where the speculation comes into play. Let's just assume that you're going to lose that, or you lose half of that 900. So now you've got 450, which don't get me wrong, it's plenty. But for someone like me that didn't get the tri-motor, because I don't have 100 and how many thousand?
90 something thou.
Canadian.
Yeah. Shouldn't be. I wouldn't expect it to be over 100
with taxes and all that kind of stuff.
With taxes,
it's going to be triple.
And I think if you go by what he was saying in terms of like extra add-ons and stuff, it's going to reach well over 100.
Those are very optional, right? Most Teslas come with enough features that you get that trim level, and there aren't very many options to add afterwards.
Yeah,
that's fair, but I don't know. They're talking about he's talking about quite a few different potential options, right?
But Frank,
the solar panels on the vault,
which I can't see that being cheap.
They would be useful in California, but not in Southern Ontario. They'd never pay for themselves.
Yeah, and they won't come out at launch, guys. That's going to be an add-on that you buy afterwards, and that'll be a year or two down the road. Like look at the hitch for the Model Y. That came out actually soon, but if you look at
never mind the hitch, the sound thing.
The sound thing?
Yeah, the sound box. It didn't come with the sound.
Oh, yeah. We're getting off on a tangent. But what I'm trying to say anyway on the topic of towing, like I only got the dual motor, and that's supposed to be 500 kilometers or 300 miles. So I'm already calculating in my head half of that, right? So that's 250 I'm looking at. If I want to take my family and tow my travel trailer, I've got to, and I don't want to stop because my wife hates stopping to supercharge. I told her I've already been working on her, saying, listen, when we get this, we're going to go on these trips, and we stop anyways for lunch and stuff like that, and bathroom breaks when we go on long trips, when we go camping. But it's usually 10, 15 minutes. But if we have to supercharge, it may be longer, right? And especially if you have to unhook the trailer. So ideally, if you don't have to stop to supercharge or charge while you're towing something with the Cybertruck, it'll be most ideal. So 250 is generally the area where we go camping here in Southern Ontario, which is basically the limit. But if we want to go further, then we got to stop, right? So if I could get 275, 280, where I know that I'm not, getting to my destination, white knuckling with range anxiety, because you
5-minute supercharger stop solves your issue.
Yeah, but 5 minutes in a Model Y or Model 3 is not 5 minutes in a Cybertruck when you've got.
Well, I was reading today 350 kilowatts from Elon, right?
Yeah. No, I don't mean even just the speed of the supercharger. I'm talking about if you have to unhook your trailer. That takes 5-10 minutes in itself, and then another 5-10 minutes to hook it back up. So you add that all up, whether it's a 5-minute charge, you're now looking at 25 minutes.
That's the one thing I really wish they touched on, which was the range with towing, like actual more real life test. But I guess we'll find out as we get closer.
I'm getting over 300 watt hours per kilometer towing my trailer now.
Yeah, but you got a small box trailer, right?
Right.
Yeah. Okay, but what I want to know, and I'm laughing at you, Rob, what I want to know is what's that do for a 5,000-pound trailer with a Cybertruck? See, that,
I think the majority of people are not really, the people who want the 500 miles, most of those people aren't going to be towing anything.
Well, probably most of the people buying any of the trim of the Cybertrucks probably aren't. Just like trucks in general, even traditional trucks down south, like. What's the majority of them that actually ever use that hitch in the back and tow something? Trucks have become such a designer thing and a status symbol down in the States, or even here in North America. I shouldn't just point out our friends in the States. In North America, they've become a status symbol, not really a practical vehicle like what it was actually originally designed for.
I think they're gonna have to revamp some of the superchargers as well. Matthew said in the comments, I want to on hook to supercharge, someone's going to get blocked. So,
well, they got one pull through stall, right?
Yeah.
Well, and this is what I was thinking, and I've never, because sorry, Franklin, but or anyone else, but I'm not in the habit of tweeting Elon to try to get a message across. But what I was thinking for all,
I would never do that.
No, I know. That's why I said sorry. What I was thinking is, you know what they should do? And I doubt Tesla would ever do this, and probably just out of sheer stubbornness. But if they put a charging port at the front of the Cybertruck, just like it is on a Leaf, like a Leaf, yeah, right? Mm-hmm. Or like my old Kia Soul had that too, right? If they did that, not as your sole charging, but have the one on the side like it traditionally does, like all the Teslas on the driver's side, but put one on the front too, just on the Cybertruck, or even throw it in as a towing package and charge me $1,000 and rape me like Tesla usually does. I mean, fine, I'll pay for it because you know what? That would be beneficial. Yeah, I wouldn't have to unhook. Yeah, I might block someone with with my 26-foot trailer behind me. I may be blocking someone, and then I don't mean to be rude or inconsiderate, but at least I won't have to unhook. And it depends. It's all situational. It depends on time of day, the situation, how busy it is, and stuff like that.
I think, I think that's a good idea, Dex. I like it. You should go tweet Elon.
How hard could it be?
Tweet Elon.
Tweet Elon.
Elon, you want to solve your towing problem with the Cybertruck, which it will be a problem because when I say a problem, either like Matthew, it'll be a problem because everyone will block other people and we'll just have like road rage at the supercharger, or it'll just be an inconvenience like for people like me, which will have to unhook and unhitch all the time.
I think the future of you like going camping, right, X? So you drive. Obviously, this won't apply to everyone, but I think the future of having FSD in a car, being able to literally take a nap and waking up at your destination is super, super interesting. Especially looking at what Tesla's been able to achieve with FSD, and we're going to be having it soon. But I don't know. I just think driving in general is going to change drastically, especially long distance trips and stuff like that. So I can see why a longer range vehicle would make sense because you can literally go sleep in the back of your truck and then you wake up at your destination.
Snake charger.
Yeah, I guess which they're going to have to do anyway. But you wouldn't have to you wouldn't have to stop as much, obviously, right? So you can literally cover X number of kilometers without stopping, and you can just sleep the whole time. Your car will never stop, right? Because of the range. So
you can actually make it to your destination faster if you stop more often.
Yep, that's true. That's been proven by
that's how I do my long trips. You drive for 2 hours, you stop for 10 minutes. You drive for 2 hours, you stop for 10 minutes.
Yeah, and you know what? That was proven by Kyle out of Spec Motoring down south. But I did that on the way back in February, coming back from Disney. we stopped more often. I told my wife, listen, we're going to stop probably 2 times more often instead of, I think, 8 stops, we did 10 stops. But I said, she didn't believe me, and she wasn't going to argue with me. But I said, it's going to work out faster in the long run. And it did. Might have saved us probably an hour or an hour and a half. I forget what the calculation was, but yeah, it did. Anyways, that's the Cybertruck news. I mean, news in terms of we know we're getting something and little tweaks and changes here, but we don't know exactly what. And I'm hoping with this new 4680 battery, this whole issue with loss of too much range when you're towing will be a moot point, because I'm hoping with this new chemistry, there may be some magic sauce in there that, I don't know, maybe I'm just, getting my hopes up for nothing. But moving right along, speaking of getting our hopes up, Tasmanian. This article is from Tasmanian. It's actually from everyone, but Tasmanian, I have on the screen here. Yeah, speaking of full self-driving beta and full self-driving in general, what all our friends down in the States have, actually I shouldn't say all, a handful of our friends down in the States have and been eagerly testing for us and helping us out a lot, which, you know what, I don't know if they get enough credit as they should. I know there's a lot of jealousy on the internet, online, with the videos that they're putting out and stuff like that. But I, for one, want to thank them very much for their hard work and efforts and stuff like that. They're the pioneers here. They're going above and beyond and testing this and showing us. And I mean, testing it is one thing, and taking the risk, because there is a risk. Let's face it, there's a risk in doing it, because Tesla comes right out and says this car may do the worst thing at the worst time. You still want to do it, right? And then on top of that, they film it for us.
I talked to someone who went for a ride in, I'm not going to name them because I didn't get permission. I talked to someone who went for a ride, and they said that they were sweating watching the car do it's thing, and they weren't even behind the wheel, right? So the people who are beta testing, they're doing an excellent job. It's going to sound dumb, but I mean, it is a lot of work for what they're doing, because they're still monitoring the car and they're letting it do its thing, ready to take over at any point in time. I was told that what you see online doesn't paint the whole picture. It's very, very impressive though. So
yeah, no. And remember, I mean, not that anyone would ask for money, but they're doing this for free. They're basically working for Tesla for free.
Yeah. And I think
which we all do in a heartbeat.
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head, right? They get a lot of people that are jealous because, hey, they got the beta and you didn't, or whatever it may be. But the people Tesla picked, for the most part, are all people that have been a part of the community and been key to the community for a very long time, and they've done a lot for Tesla, like as unofficial employees, right? Don't want to say they're employees. There's whole lawsuits about that. But anyway, yeah, the Tesla picked out people strategically, and those people are doing an excellent job. And I can't wait for us to get it in Canada. I've been somewhat active on Twitter with hashtag FSD Beta Canada.
Yes, where are we on that? On day 14 or 13?
Day 14. I shared the 14th post tonight. Well, actually, while we're doing the podcast.
Okay, because I was going to say, you usually wait till the nighttime to do it, because just in case, right? You don't want to do it at lunchtime, and next, the beta drops to you, and you look like an ungrateful son of a, you know what? Right?
No, honestly, it's pretty much like, it's like whenever I I got to post it at some point today, and it's whenever I remember. So some days it will be night, some days it will be afternoon. It's whatever.
Okay.
Usually not morning, but and that's yeah. Go ahead.
Is that going to hit the EAP people first? Early access program.
Who knows?
The beta, when it comes to Canada here?
Yeah.
We don't know, buddy. I mean, there.
Is that what is hidden in the US?
No, I was going to say, from what I understand, majority of them were, but there were some people that weren't in the early access program that actually turned it down. Whether it was months ago or years ago, turned it down, and they still got it. So I don't know if there's a rhyme or reason, man. I don't know. I tried to wrap my head around it to see what the rhyme or reason was, or what the pattern was. Unless you have a pattern that you guys figured out, I don't see it.
I have no idea. I don't think there is a
safe drivers.
Safe and responsible drivers.
Well,
this whole thing started. Sorry, you gonna say something, Franklin? Go ahead.
Oh, well, the whole safe driver thing. Earl, actually, Front Puppies, Earl. he found a tweet that Omar posted like last year, where he said anyone driving a Tesla is concerned about safety isn't driving it properly. Meanwhile, they're in the beta, right? So either the tweet's a lie or something's going on there. But
sure. Well, what I was going to say is moving on to this whole FSD beta in Canada, where this all came about in this article from Tasmanian, was once again, like I think 90% of Tesla news originates on Twitter. Correct me if I'm wrong, guys. through Elon, right? Of all people. This gentleman, that I can't pronounce his name. If you guys can help me out, it's on the screen there. Anyways, he said on November 2nd, he said, please implement all FSD functions for Norway. Norwegian laws are world leading in acceptance for autonomous vehicles. ! Norway has the highest density of Tesla cars in the world, which is true. Norway is not, and is also not in the EU. And now he mentions that only because the EU's, they have this thing with autopilot and full self-driving, where it's not like they're at war with them, but to have it, there's a lot of restrictions because the EU is a very, very timid when it comes to full self-driving and autopilot. Anyways, Elon quickly responded to him saying Canada and Norway are next after we get the US out of early beta. So there's so much stuff in that little sentence that we could like read into. But like for instance, and I'll ask you guys on the show here, what do you mean? What do you think he means when he says when we get out of early beta?
Do you want to give it a shot first? Go for it.
Who, me?
Rob, what do you think?
Yeah. I have no idea what that means. What's early beta, right?
So my thoughts are, right now it's early beta. You have a half dozen people that have, I think there's more than that have it, but a half dozen people that have it that are allowed to share on social media. Then they're going to do more of a non-early beta. It's going to be like more of a bigger beta with more people in the States. And at that point, we're going to start seeing it. Going by Elon's timeline, which he's been pretty accurate because he said like 2 weeks we're gonna have the beta, and it was pretty much 2 weeks later. We're probably looking beginning of December, mid-December, for when the US should have it, and tackle on another week or two. We should have it by the end of December, is my guess.
Christmas.
Yeah, that's under the assumption, and I know when you assume, that's under the assumption that Elon's timelines are. They follow Elon's timelines, right?
Yeah.
So,
but like I said earlier, he's been getting better lately, right?
Yeah.
I think he knows, and there was
under promising, over delivering.
That was the word or the term I was trying to get out about 15, 20 minutes ago, and I couldn't get it out. But yeah, now why do you think my next? Oh, sorry. Okay, no, I think you both answered, so I can carry on. My next question is, why do you guys think Canada and Norway? What's the rationale behind that?
Well, us is from a legal standpoint. So
sorry?
For us, it's a legal standpoint. So for like, if you look at the release of Smart Summon, the US got Smart Summon, then we got it 3.5 weeks later. And then navigation on autopilot took about a month.
Was that all it was? 3.5 weeks? It felt
correct,
like forever.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, because all those videos, and I think my daily stuff kind of really prolonged it. Because like right now, it seems even longer, right? With
yes. You do it to yourself, man.
But and by the way, Dax, we have a nice overlay that I added for anyone who's listening, not watching. There's a FSD Beta Canada hashtag that I've been pushing. We have a nice overlay on our stream today, but I think it's easier to get stuff approved here once they have data in the US. So from what I understand, Canada's like, yeah, show us the data. Is it safe? And then they'll go back and they'll be like, yeah, look, over the last 3 weeks, we have this data. And they'll be like, oh, sure, let's approve this. Right? So we kind of get it 3 to 4 weeks later.
The US.
Yeah. Transport Canada, I think their motto is show us, prove it.
Yeah.
Do you guys suspect that some of it has to do with Elon having connections to Canada as well? Or is it just purely related to the fact that we're just following the US in general?
I think it has to do with us following the U.S. and us. Our roads and our laws are very close to the U.S. I mean, it's not a matter of we have different, for the most part, different rules and stuff like that. We drive on the same side of the road. Like there's so many things that are so similar that aren't. You laugh, I know, but but there's so in certain countries across the world, there's so many things that are completely different and different aspects.
You make a great point, right? Because if you think they're training a neural network to like drive, so they want to collect data, and if they have to train it because it's like a drastically different driving experience, it's not going to work as well. So that means it's going to take longer for them to do it. Where they already have a base because they have all the U.S. data that they've been doing, so it's kind of easier to transition over a place that's basically the same. People don't want to hear it, but we're very, very similar to the U.S. So.
Yeah, that's true. And, I think also two other aspects, too, is other than geographical location and laws. The other thing is, I think, because I lost my train of thought again.
It's because my hashtag pushing on Twitter, I know.
Is that what it is? Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I remember. They want to get, in my opinion, tell me if you guys agree or disagree with me, they want to get the next step of it, or the next stage of it is they want to get winter testing. And I think they know that Canada and Norway, I mean, what other two countries have better winter conditions that they can test? Because like I said, there's a lot I've been talking in the last couple of weeks, reading and commenting and chatting back and forth with some not anti-FSD people, but people that are skeptics of FSD, thinking it's never going to work here with all the snow and snow-covered roads and everything. But we've seen videos when it was the very early beta before the couple revisions it's already been on, where it's driving down the road without lane markers, without the solid yellow line or the white dotted line. So I'm wondering now, but don't get me wrong, I was one of those people at first thinking, yeah, the minute the snow covers the road, we're screwed, or autopilot screwed. But now seeing this down in the States, I'm wondering if we actually even need the lines on the road.
I heard that they're training the cars to follow other cars and determine where the lanes would be based on tire tracks in the snow.
Yeah, well, that would work. I would be a little cautious about following other cars. At least we've all driven in Southern Ontario in the winter, right? You don't want to always follow the other car.
But you can use it as a example of maybe the lane is here. Yeah, probably the lane is here.
I know what you mean.
I think this is going to sound dumb. I think the biggest test we're going to see, and this will probably be the first thing I test the second we get it, is Smart Summon. I use Smart Summon a lot, and the minute that the car, it's based off temperature, and I haven't nailed it down to the exact temperature yet.
Mark said it was 7, I thought he said.
Yeah, there's something there, but it nerfs the speed that the car can go in Smart Summon. Mark and I actually had a really fun video we had planned with Smart Summon, which was going to be delayed because of the speed nerf because of our weather. But
do it in the next few days, buddy. It's gonna be in the 60s.
I gotta talk to him. Anyway, without spoiling that video is gonna be epic. But yeah, we get a speed nerf. So if the FSD beta can fix the speed nerf on Smart Summon, then I kind of would trust it driving in the snow. I know it sounds stupid, but
I hear you.
The fact that they're cautious about a car traveling 10 kilometers per hour versus the 2 that travels with the snow. I mean, yeah.
I have a autopilot story. It's maybe not quite related, but it's, you guys ever been driving down the road where the lines end and the car just keeps going? Like the lines on the road end and the car just keeps going on autopilot. It doesn't. Oh yeah, it's like weird. It's weird stuff.
It's weird in a good way, though, right?
Yeah, but then it starts to drift a little bit eventually, and you just kind of, I don't know, and you just kind of take over before it drifts right off the road.
Yeah. So we're excited that we're supposed to be getting it next, us and Norway. And the other thing too, I think, I remember my other point, other than geographical location, I think correct me if I'm wrong, if you guys assume the same thing I'm assuming, Canada and Norway next to the US are probably the two other countries that have the biggest population of Teslas, and probably the next, like the population to test it out, like as opposed to a smaller European country like, say, Italy. I mean, how many, and I'm being ignorant here, not on
to
purpose.
be honest, I'm kind of shocked China's not next in line.
Oh, true. China would have a lot.
Yeah.
Right?
Because of
what the numbers are.
Number of orders, plus from a legal standpoint, because China's already testing full self-driving vehicles on regular roads.
Yeah,
like we're not even talking like private test tracks. Like we're talking just regular roads. So like, yeah, go out and test. I mean, it's not that lenient, but I'm just saying, like they already have them there, right? So I can see a Tesla applying and being, hey, we have this, here's our data, get it approved, and they'd say yes. But again, maybe it's different driving aspects, so who knows?
Yeah. Moving on to our second to last news article, once again from our friends at Drive Tesla Canada. Maybe you can explain this one in a little more detail for me, Franklin. But the headline, anyway, is future 5G connection hotspot feature hinted in the next in the Tesla source code. You know our friend Green the Only. Sorry, did I put you on a spot? But
no, I'm good. Yeah. So he basically opened up a firmware file. If you scroll down, there's like the actual tweet, and it has like basically they're looking to support a 5G chip, which currently it's just LTE 4G. As everything's switching to 5G, and when we say switching, it's very slow. And I just bought a 5G phone, and I want to turn off the 5G because I don't know, I'm just going to waste battery for not really gaining anything because we don't have the networks yet. But it's cool to see that Tesla's forward thinking and they're willing to upgrade. I see this kind of like the USB thing where they upgraded to USB-C in the newer versions of the car, where ours is the regular USB. So I see Tesla's like upgrading to newer technology. They're upgrading from LTE to 5G. So if you buy a car, sooner or later, it's going to have 5G support. Some of the interesting things that Green only did mention is they're looking to monitor bandwidth. So they can actually have the cars collect information in terms of how much bandwidth each car is using, which I would be shocked if they don't do that already. Because for the price that you're paying for unlimited premium connectivity, to be able to like stream Netflix, for example, which is like a steal if you actually do it, that's a lot of bandwidth that you're using for a very little amount of money. So apparently they want to track bandwidth better to make sure people are using whatever. And he also mentioned hotspots, which is fascinating. So hotspots basically... some of the other car manufacturers have this. So OnStar, for example, you can pay X number of dollars per month, like $40 per month, let's say, and you'll get like 500 megabytes. And you can use your car as a hotspot for data on your phone. So if you're in a place where you don't have data on your phone or whatever it may be, you can actually use your car as a Wi-Fi network for your phone. So there's a lot of really interesting things from these two tweets. 5G, bandwidth tracking, and potential hotspot sharing from the car, which I can't see it be built into the unlimited. There's no way they can make it unlimited. It'd have to be like a specific fee for a certain amount of data, but we'll see.
Yeah, no, it is interesting, and you know, Green the Only, or Green. Nobody. Oh, at least we don't. I don't know his real name. I love how he gets all this little tidbits and all these little hidden gems for us. Like, I mean, Tesla would never release this, and I don't know who else would ever dig into the code this deeply to find this kind of stuff, or would even like understand this stuff in the code. So thanks for him to actually pick up on this kind of stuff. Now, yeah, the hotspot thing is interesting.
Yeah, it's actually a lot of work what he does. I have access to a computer. I've dug through some of the code. But at a certain point, it's like, man, this is so much work for very little data outcome. So hats off to him.
Yeah, no, it's amazing what he does. We lost Rob there for a second, just for people watching and stuff like that. He had some sound issues. He's gonna try to come back in shortly, but while we're not ignoring him, but while we wait for him, we're just gonna continue on with the last topic, which is going to be the new firmware. Now, we're not talking about the FSD firmware or anything like that. We're talking about, I guess it is an FSD. I'm just going to mute you there, Rob, while we talk about this. And
Sure.
I'll unmute you when we're ready. Yeah. Tesla firmware 2020.44. There's no dot after the 44, which I'm finding very, very strange as of late. But this has some small little enhancements and stuff like that. That is pretty cool to see that they're bringing. And now, correct me if I'm wrong, guys. Have you heard of anyone asking for this autopilot speed adjustment, where you can now pick your speed tolerance on percentage, not on just like an actual speed over?
So Mark, the backseat baller, and myself, we were driving one day, not too long ago, and I was talking to him. I said, "Hey, when I tap the speed limit sign, my speed automatically jumps up like 10 or 15 over." And he's like, that's strange. So I sent him a video of what mine did, and he sent me a video of what his did. And there was a discrepancy. His dropped to 100, mine went over. So before this update, there's actually like a hidden little setting in the car where even though it was grayed out, even if you didn't use it, you'd have to enable it, and then you set your absolute speed to whatever you want to go over the speed limit, and then you disable it for your warning, and the warning would actually override the speed when you click the button. So it was like some small little hidden setting where I was like, okay, it's interesting, it's cool, but they made it really complex and really confusing. So I'm kind of happy that they updated it like this, where it's much easier to use.
Are you talking about the offset, like I'm showing in the picture here in this picture?
Yeah. So it's always been there. It's just never been like this.
Yeah, it was always fixed, or it had some kind of I forget the terminology, but yeah, you're right. Now they've added the percentage, which it's pretty self-explanatory how the percentage works. It's percentage of whatever speed limit.
Yeah, the offset before was based off speed limit warning, so it was kind of built into that. So you had to have that enabled, even though if you had it disabled, it'd still work. So it was really confusing. The percentage is great, though.
Yeah. For people at home or people that don't really understand it, I'll just read what it says here. It says now, for example, when you're driving at 50 kilometer an hour in the 50 kilometer hour speed zone, if you have set the limit to 10% above, you will do 55, which makes sense. 10% of 50 is 5, so 55 instead of 60. If you had the setting set to 10 kilometers over, so if you had it set to 10 before, it would be doing 60 instead of 50. Now it would be doing 55 because you're now not 10 kilometers over, you're 10% over. Makes sense, right? So obviously, if you're doing 10% over and now you're on the highway doing 100 kilometers, you'd be doing 110.
Yeah, no, it's cool. I like it. The other one was Spotify improvements.
Yeah, and I've it's funny. We bugged Elon for Spotify for all this time. We finally get it, and then all I hear for months afterwards, "Oh, Spotify sucks. If you can't use it, you can't search." Like we're so we're almost like what's the term I'm looking for?
Spoiled.
Yeah, I'm trying to be polite about it, but yeah, we're spoiled Tesla brats. That's what it is.
The other one was media search improvements. So I got the update tonight. I haven't actually tested it yet, and I hope to make a video.
You got the update? Oh my god!
I got it this afternoon. Actually, I've just been busy. But I haven't tested it yet. But my buddy Gary told me that the new media search improvements is amazing. So can't wait to try that and check it out. There's also a new media source, which gives you.
I gotta stop you. I don't like this new trend of you getting software updates before me, Franklin. This has got to stop.
After the FSD beta, I will approve that you get the updates first.
Really?
I'm a nice guy.
Yeah, that's awesome that you can do that for me.
Up until there's something big that comes out afterwards.
Yes.
You take
I
all the
don't know if
bug
you updated
fixes.
it yet either.
Yeah.
So though that's basically, I mean, it did some voice command language improvements and stuff like that for a bunch of different languages for this new update. And for the Model S and X owners that have the Raven cars, it also adds an improved launch mode apparently too. So
the one that you're on, actually, if you scroll down a little bit, there's like all the toggles.
Yep.
So you can actually
that's cool. Yes.
Yeah, so you can select the sources you want to enable. So if you don't use radio, you can disable it. You can there's a radio, phone, streaming, Spotify, karaoke, and TuneIn. So you don't have to have them all display on the screen anymore. If you want to get rid of some of them, you can do that.
This is perfect. Yes.
Yeah, I think that's awesome.
Yes, because every time I get in the car with my wife, or when my wife was previously in the car, and she hardly ever drives a car, but I can tell when she was, because she'll always have it on a radio station. And like I told you privately in the last couple of weeks, Franklin, I don't know if it's just me, but I'm pretty sure that I actually have it on good authority that there's something wrong with my FM tuner in my car, because my radio stations, and I live in a GTA, which I should get radio stations in pretty clearly. I'm not like I live up north, like Tesla Canuck or anything like that. I get my radio stations are all staticky, and basically radio is useless. So if I can toggle that off so my wife doesn't keep using it and force her to use TuneIn Radio for the stream radio stations, be good. I'd get rid of karaoke because that's useless to me. And I'd probably get rid of streaming too, because Spotify, now you have Spotify, you don't need streaming. And my wife was playing some music a few days ago, and she was streaming because the radio wasn't working and she didn't know how to use TuneIn. Go ahead.
So you just totally reminded me of something. Sorry, I didn't mean to.
No.
There's podcast support now on Spotify.
Oh, good. So we don't have to rely on TuneIn for all our podcasts.
Correct, yeah.
Okay. Which is also a good segue and a reminder to all the people at home that are listening that if you just want to listen and you don't want to watch, we are on Spotify, on a podcast part of Spotify. We're on Google Podcasts, we're on Apple Podcasts, and we're on TuneIn Radio Podcasts. So that's where I used to say it a lot, and I haven't said it in a while, so that's where you can hear us. What do you think of the changes, Rob? Do you have yours yet?
No, I don't have an update yet. Franklin gets all the updates first. It's ridiculous.
Son of a bitch.
But I did have a thought on that. When you said your wife is playing the other radio stations, playing things that you don't want, and then it ends up on yours. My old car, it used to be, you had one key and it would set all the radio stations for that one key. And then the other person would have a key that would set all the radio stations to their profile. I'm surprised Tesla doesn't do that yet.
Well, you never know. You know what? With these toggles to toggle on and off, that may retain in memory depending on the profile. So
right.
That'd be curious to know. So Franklin, that's your assignment for the next hour after this podcast is finished. You go and find out. Oh, do you have different profiles in your car?
Yeah, I do.
You do? Okay, well, change your profiles and then toggle off some of those things and see if it actually saves the setting.
Well, okay, we're kind of in the story aspect of our podcast, and it kind of ties in.
All the news is finished.
Yeah.
So we're going to tell stories now. Now that we're an hour.
Tell stories.
True stories, of course.
All right. So actually, I got a new phone yesterday, and I set it all up, but I didn't I signed into my Tesla account, but that was it.
Stop.
Yeah, what's up?
You can't do that to us, buddy.
What do you mean?
So I got a new phone yesterday, and No, you have to tell us what kind of phone you got and how you like it.
I didn't get an iPhone. So anyway, let's.
That's probably the most important part of that story. Yeah.
I got the new Pixel 5.
That's supposed to be a very good phone.
Yeah, it's good. The only part about it I don't like is the 5G, because I don't care for it because we don't have really good coverage. So it's kind of a waste of tech and battery. But
it's a pretty small phone for 2020.
Yeah, it's the nice thing about it, honestly, is the edge-to-edge display. That's
that looks sharp.
Yeah.
Well, you don't have a notch?
No notch.
Yeah, Pixel 3, right?
Yeah. So
giant notch.
Wait a minute.
Notches are awful.
Yeah, and honestly, like all the notch phones I look at now, they look so dated.
Right.
Whereas this looks so like, look how clean that
What
looks.
do you mean? Mine doesn't look. I don't have a notch on anything I go. Look, it doesn't have a notch.
Notch.
No,
It has a notch. It's just what Apple decided to do is like, and call it, and they called it the reinvention of the wheel. Is they just made night mode, and with night mode you don't see the notch.
yeah.
So then you got giant bezels.
So we completely hijacked your story. Sorry.
So I logged into my Tesla account, but I was in a rush today. I had to leave, and I went to my car, and I didn't have my old phone with me, and I usually keep my key card with my phone as well, which we've talked about at length. Dax says it's not a good idea, but anyway, I didn't have it with me, so I had to like run back inside to grab my old phone because I didn't set up the key on this phone. So I'm there at my car, like, come on, let me in.
Not thinking.
Yeah, not thinking. Of course, it's those times when you're in a rush. I didn't have time to set it up then and there. So I went to my appointment and then came out and set it up properly. So I have it all set up now. But that's my story. It's not the most elaborate, but hey, make sure your phone's set up before you leave.
Yeah.
Or you can call.
It's just a muscle memory thing, right?
You just call someone else on your account and say, remotely open my car.
Mark's done that a few times.
I've been there.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, when your iPhone dies, that's what you do. You ask your Android friends for help.
I actually did that once.
Okay.
Yeah.
I did that once last year. My wife, she had an older iPhone SE, and it was slow, and it was always giving her problems getting in the car and starting. And just one day it wouldn't work, so she called me up, and she needed the car. And I forget
what did you do? You call an Android person to log in for you?
No, what I did is, you know how you can remotely start the car from the app? So I started the car. I said, you got 2 minutes to put it in drive and start driving. And she was able to drive to her destination. For some weird reason, when she got to her destination and went back in the car afterwards, her phone worked fine. She's been subsequently, since she's upgraded to a newer, better iPhone.
That feature is underrated.
Yeah, that's great.
I've used it a few times where I've been nowhere near my car and someone wants to like quickly move it out of my garage. And it's just like, yeah, sure. Here you go. Remote start. Away you go. It's useful.
Let's say you have your car in at a shop and you totally forgot the key card, because I don't carry my key cards anywhere where I go, just my phone, and take it into the shop and you forgot to give them the key card. Well, you're not going to leave the phone with them. So you just say, hey, anytime you need to move it, I'll remotely start it. Just give me a call.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, now that you say that, you're not going to leave the phone with them. This is like super off topic, and hey, you brought it up, so it kind of reminded me. My insurance covers my car's key in case of like accidental damage and all that kind of stuff.
What?
Yeah. So if I took my car key and broke it, they would cover it under insurance. So in the case of a Tesla, is my car key my phone? Would they cover my phone? Like if I drop my phone right now, would they?
Are you going to argue that with them?
Try it.
I don't know.
Yeah, try it.
Well, you know what? Keep in mind.
Now, this Pixel 5.
Now, this isn't just a Tesla thing. I'm sure they do that for that coverage. It's probably something that they have on all other cars. And some of these key fobs for some of these cars are pretty expensive. Like we're upwards of $300, $400, $500.
The BMW with the touchscreen.
The key?
So
the key fob with the touchscreen.
Oh
yeah,
cool. $1,000 key fob.
Oh, that's nothing, buddy. That's nothing.
You say that, Dax. Over the summer, I was helping out
I did say that.
A relative who he has a work van, and he ordered his key from GM. So he got it, but he can't do nothing with it. He has to program it. Yeah. So he spent like $150 for a key. Then he had to actually bring it to GM.
Right.
And he actually called me up because he's like, hey, I have nowhere to go. Like, you want to come hang out? I'm like, yeah, sure. They took like 3 or 4 hours just to program his key.
And how much did they charge him and bend him over for that?
An extra $180 or something on top of the $150. So he over $300 plus half a day of work that he had work time gone. And I was like, I'm actually shocked that Tesla charges as little as they do for the plastic cards. And we program them ourselves. Like,
Yes, I am. I am. You know, that's a very good point. I am surprised, and I'll tell you why I'm surprised, because Tesla, and Tesla's, no different than any other car company when it comes to this kind of stuff. They will get you coming and going at any point. Let's just say I know a friend that just got a new Model Y, or is getting a new Model Y, and tonight I asked him, "What are you doing because he's getting it soon, within the next month or so." So I asked him, "What are you doing for winter tires?" Because I know he lives in a snow belt area, and I said, "Are you getting winter tires?" And he said, "Yeah." He goes, "Well, he says he's going to get the Tesla ones. Whenever he gets it, he'll get the Tesla ones." And ironically, tonight, or was it today, Tesla released their the pricing and their set for the Model Y, the 19-inch. I think they're the Gemini ones with the snow tires. I forget what make it is for the snow tires. I want to say Pirelli, but I could be wrong. But they're charging $4,700 Canadian for the set of 4 tires. That is insane.
It's not a necessary accessory. I mean, you can just go get third party.
Yeah, exactly.
Tires
for maybe $2,500, maybe stretching it $3,000, but still almost half price.
I don't personally find Tesla's prices exorbitant.
With the tires, I think they do.
Yeah.
no, for the most part, you're right. Like
with that, but like parts are not. Tesla's got cheap parts.
No, you're right. You're right.
Can't get them.
Oh, you have to order them through the app. You order them through the service in the app.
I was joking.
Yeah, and they give me anything I ask for. If I say, hey, I need a bolt, they'll be like, okay, 70 cents.
They're not expensive. I just find some of the parts take a while to get. Right.
You know what?
But they are extremely. It's funny you say that now, Rob, because I was actually looking recently for a certain part, and I was looking at the price. I'm like, man, this is cheap. Where it got me thinking, where I'm like, hey, I can go buy a salvaged Tesla, buy the parts for it, and like if I had the technical skill, obviously, and repair it with like if it's just body work or whatever, or the parts are cheap. Basically, is what I'm getting to.
The labor is not.
No, the labor isn't.
No.
Well, I remember when I first got my car, 2018. It was $125 an hour. Is when the Model 3 came out. That's what they were charging, 125 Canadian per hour, and 6 months later, all of a sudden, overnight, price went from 125 to 175 an hour, and there was no notice, and I never saw anyone complain about it, or except for me. I was the only one who seemed to notice that their prices went through the roof.
You know why you're the only one to notice? Because you're the only one out of warranty at that point.
Oh, well, yeah.
Or coming up close to it.
But I mean, the snow tires, you have many options to go third party on those. Now, the one place where you don't have the option is the Bluetooth sensors on the Model Y, tire pressure sensors. I heard today that kind of all tire pressure sensors are Bluetooth, and those are just a special frequency.
Yep. Yeah, you were on the same calls I was on, right?
We had 2 questions in the chat, by the way. So The first one is from We Back Tesla. Will Tesla deliver 500,000 cars this year? From my rough calculation, there are 320,000 so far through all 3 quarters. So their last quarter was their best at 140. So even if they matched the 140 from last year, from last quarter, they'd still be about 40,000 short. So they'd have to do 40,000 more than their best quarter.
So very unlikely, but
Elon's going to try to get there.
Yeah. Oh, of course he's going to try. Of course.
Oh, yeah.
When you factor in that there was a pandemic and they're shut down for a prolonged period of time, all considering, it's pretty impressive. Again, don't take my numbers as to heart. Those are just like my rough estimates.
No, it is super impressive, and you can take those numbers. Well, they're fairly accurate. But what I found very impressive, and it's just off topic a little bit, but it has to do with Tesla numbers. There's this one channel I follow on YouTube. The guy's name is Dave Erickson from Everyday Driver. YouTube channel. Check it out. He used to be on the local TV news, and I guess he quit that and he went YouTube full time, and reviews cars and stuff like that. Anyways, he compiled this list of all major car manufacturers for 2020. So in the first 3 quarters, the first 9 months, and he broke down each model of what they sold to date. And you wouldn't believe, I mean, some of them were just stupid numbers, like the Ford F-150 in the first 9 months, 583,000 or something like that. But then as you look at the other companies like Toyota and Honda and Nissan and stuff like that, and you look at that, and he included Tesla in there, and Tesla was a very short list because they only had 4 models. But Tesla really held their own and stood up to these big companies, and it was impressive to see how they did. And why he put this episode together and why he was showing is with the pandemic, let's see how they're affected. And we all know that all these car manufacturers have gone down, so they were affected. And it was quite pleasing to see that Tesla actually stood their own, like I said.
I think the biggest thing with Tesla isn't even it's not demand, it's production. So I have a neighbor who wants to buy a car. He wants to buy a 3, and just last week he's like, if I order it today, when will I get it? And I checked at the time, I think it was up to 8 weeks or 9 weeks, and it ranges, right? So if you think you're waiting 2 months almost to get your car, that's because there's that much demand ahead of you.
And
they can't keep up.
Car.
Yeah, they can't keep up with what they're making. They don't have a demand problem. They have a production problem, right? In the sense of they're not making enough. So
you're absolutely right.
The next question is, did you guys want to add anything before we?
No. Go on.
Okay. The next question is, if I buy a used Tesla with FSD, will it transfer with the car and the new owner?
Yes.
Now, I had this, not a debate, but I had this little chat with someone in one of my YouTube videos, back and forth in the comments. I've heard, now I don't know names and stuff, but I've heard certain circumstances where it hadn't, and the person knows that. I don't know how they knew, or I mean, I take it at face value, but I heard that when the person bought the car, they knew that it had full self-driving or autopilot. Maybe it was EAP, enhanced autopilot. And when they bought it, didn't have it. Tesla wanted to sell it to them. Now, that might have been a one-off. It might not have been true or something, because if Tesla was to get into that habit, they would get themselves in a lot of hot water, I think. From an ethical point of view, that's just not cool. So for the most part, yeah, I think they do. And when you go to the CPO page of Tesla's websites, you can see that they'll say whether it's an autopilot or FSD is included in it.
Yeah. And going back, Tesla, they said they ordered their Model Y 48-week estimate, got it in 3 weeks on Monday in Colorado, October build. They're cranking out cars. They're cranking cars out. I bet China exporting and cranking cars out of Fremont, they get there.
Right, to the 500,000.
Yeah. And
it's going to be close.
His VIN range was 68,000 for anyone who's interested. So.
Okay. My uncle just recently picked up his Model Y. It was about a 60,000 VIN.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. So he's saying, or WeBack Tesla saying that they suspect that they're getting cars out of China and sending them off to Fremont, but they don't. No, they don't. I was going to say they don't need
Europe. They're just pumping them.
Yeah,
okay. He's just saying that they're just pumping out cars
because whether they're manufactured in China or not, they still get counted in production. Right?
Exactly.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
Sorry if this was already asked for Rob. How's your battery loss percentage?
Oh no, we didn't. Thanks for that one, TestMD. We didn't.
I mean, people are always so concerned about that, but realistically, it's a nothing thing. I mean, I think if I charged the full, I'd be about 485K, 490, something like that, 485, let's say. And when I got the car, it was 499, so down about 15K and 177,000K.
That's
of driving.
Extremely good.
That's like 2 or 3%. If my math serves me correct.
I supercharge about once a week, maybe once every 2 weeks, 5-10 minutes. My normal supercharger stop is $3.50 approximately. Usually I just splash and dash.
Yeah.
I like how you know the average amount. Well, I guess you would with the amount you drive, right?
So I used to Turo my car. I would let people borrow it, and when they went to a supercharger, I warned them. I said, only charge when you're empty, and only charge what you need. Don't charge it to 100%, or don't do any of this baloney with charging. Sitting for 45 minutes charging it up. And they never listened to me. So when I looked at my account history, the only ones that are like over $10 are the people who Turoed my car and didn't listen to me. My bills are all under $5.
How did you find Turoing?
Well, first guy rented my car, scratched the rim.
Okay. See,
other than that.
The reason I ask is this actually is a good segue. I was going to tell as my part of my Tesla story. Oh, sorry, Rob. Do you have a Tesla story that you wanted to share with us? We do this at the end of every podcast where we just talk about Tesla stories, just like personal little tidbits.
Well, there's a lot that come to mind.
Anything clean?
Well, I don't know if I have anything from today or I drive my car to work, and maybe from a few weeks ago, I'll drive my car to work and I'll park in the parking lot, and it may be a bit of a rainy day. And all of a sudden, a bunch of other employees will come up to me and they'll be like, what's with your roof? Why is your roof all orange and different colors? And I'm like, that's just the way it came. When it rains, it just reflects the different colors of the rainbow, I guess.
It blows people away, eh?
Yeah.
People were saying on Twitter they pay extra for that.
Right. I mean, I don't want to lose it.
I'm going to lose it.
Because all the new ones don't have it. The new ones don't have it. Would you pay extra for that?
Yes, I would.
I would too.
Hell yeah.
It sounds dumb, but I would.
$500.
Well,
I would pay $500.
I'm sadly going to lose it because I have an appointment in the next few weeks to have my back glass replaced because I've got a giant crack in it, and I know I'm not going to get it, and it's something that's very bad. But I can't.
I wouldn't do that. Just keep it.
No, I can't. It's
keep it with the cracked glass.
It's huge. It's huge. It's like this big. It's huge. It goes from one side, from the complete left to the complete right. It's a safety thing. I got to get.
So if you had an option to pay extra right now, Dax, to get it,
I would because I would because I'm just going. Yeah, I don't want to pay too much, but yes, I would pay extra for it.
I heard what Tesla, like people were saying, Tesla changed the glass to, what they say, to improve quality and stuff like that. And I'm thinking, no, it's probably cost cutting.
Yeah, that's what I think.
Who knows?
Yeah.
But speaking of your Turo story, it brings me to my story that it's a good segue. So I won't use names, but I have a friend that not commonly, not like on a regular basis, toured out his car. I guess, is that the term? Toured out? Well,
sure.
Used Turo to rent out his car.
Right.
He only did it a handful of times. He has a nice, beautiful Model 3. And this was a long-term one. He did it for about 4 or 5 weeks, if I remember correctly. And when he got the car back, there was a giant dent in the back quarter panel, the rear quarter panel by where the charging port is.
Oh.
And it wasn't like I saw it. It wasn't a dent like something hit it. He got into a car accident or something. It looks like something was pushed into it. It looks, or something like hit it that didn't leave a scratch. There was no paint transfer or anything like that. I mean, it looked almost deliberate, like someone kicked it. And it was huge. So huge, like the whole quarter panel from the end of the rear door where the door frame is to the tail light was all dented in. And a little bit on the driver's door was dented into, and he has white interior. So the white interior seats had some grease stain, like you can see a handprint. So he gets the car back and he noticed it right away. And he asked the guy that rented it, it's like, what happened to my car? And the guy's like, I don't know. You gave it to me like that. He's like, no, I didn't. So he checked he goes to check his Sentry camera. Well, lo and behold, the Sentry, the USB stick that he had plugged in there is not in there anymore, and he finds it in the glove box. Now, it's not one of the new Tesla Model 3s where it actually has the USB port in the glove box. He just found the drive stuffed in the glove box unattached. So he plugged it in his computer, and he found out the last thing it recorded was the second day after he had rented it out. So it must have happened like within the first 1 or 2 days. And for some reason, I guess the renter, the guy that rented it, knew enough that he got either unplugged it altogether and he's like, I'm not going to use this, or he got into an accident, unplugged it, took it in his house and deleted the footage on that. But anyways, long story short, like, this is the horror stories, and I hear about robotaxi and stuff like that, and I'm like, you know what? I don't think I can rent my car out. Like, even if it's a car that I don't own and I just want to like do it as a money making thing, and I wouldn't drive it myself and my family wouldn't be in it, I still don't think, even as my own property, I don't think I could rent it out.
So the deal with Turo is before you rent your car, you have to take pictures of the condition of it before it goes to the person. There's lots of pictures you have to take. So
before and after, yeah, and he did that.
Before and after, right? And then Turo has insurance that covers the vehicle.
Yep, and he's getting it. It's all being covered under Turo, but it's still a pain, right? Like, it's still a pain, and he says he's keeping it long term and he has no intentions of selling it. But even if you do happen to sell it now, that's a tainted Carfax now, right? Because it's got a repair in it.
Tesla offered me big bucks for my car, and even though it had a crash on it.
Yeah, you know what? Speaking of which, yeah, I've been hearing in the last couple of weeks, Tesla's trade-in values are pretty decent, considering.
They got to fill orders.
It was $41,000. I was shocked.
Oh, wow.
You know, 170,000 K.
Really?
41 grand as a trade-in, and I'm like, oh, it's tempting.
Really? Do you have FSD on it?
Yeah.
Wow, Franklin and I know someone that only was offered mid-30s or high 30s, and they have less kilometers than you.
But maybe not a long-range rear-wheel drive with FSD.
No, it was exactly.
Identical.
Really?
Yeah.
Red.
They got lowballed.
Wow. Yep. And I got, 41,000. I was so tempted.
You should have taken that money and ran to the bank. I'm just
man, because I could have got an all-wheel drive with a white interior for 58.
Going back to Dax's comment, and we have 2 more questions here, which I want to cover. We're getting a little long. The interior camera of the car, I'd be curious to see if that uploads data somewhere where they can't. It's not reliant on a USB storage stick. And just to correspond or to continue on with the whole topic of the USB, the glove box. Do you think there will be a retrofit? I don't think so.
Tesla won't offer it, but I'm sure you could buy the parts and do it yourself if you really wanted to.
I think someone out there will offer some type of aftermarket retrofit.
Oh, Brian from I One Tesla. I'm sure he's working on one right now for his Y. Because he's a tinkerer like that, right? Like, I could see him doing that.
Yeah. So who knows? It's
How hard can it be?
For myself, extremely. For someone who has good hands-on skills, probably not that bad.
If you could buy the factory parts and just swap them out, which you probably could, but it'd be very expensive and not worth it. Shouldn't be that hard.
Weren't we just saying parts are cheap?
Well, there were people who swapped out the USB ports because they wanted the USB-C instead of the USB-A's. And they said it was $300 and something.
Oh, that's worth it.
Is it?
No, it isn't.
Doesn't seem worth it.
Okay, what are the questions?
You can buy the little connector for like $2 online and just put that in there.
A couple, yes.
Okay, sorry. The other question was from Mojito. Hopefully, I pronounced it properly.
Mojito. Come on, it's a drink. Frank.
Yeah.
Come on. What are you, 18?
I drink water like 99.999% of the time.
But when he does drink, he's a wild man.
I have a standard range plus. Do you think in the future, when the battery prices go down, will we be able to change the battery pack to a long range? Will the cable support extended range?
If you go to Electrified Garage, they can change it out for a long range.
Well, I'm wondering if Mojito is asking this question because of wasn't recent news that NIO in China started doing battery swaps, or started coming out with the model of how to do battery swaps in China?
They've done 1 million battery swaps so far.
Oh, there you go.
That was the news.
That was the news. Okay, so I don't know if that the question was spawned by that, but that's something Tesla's not in. Yeah,
Neo battery swaps are for charging. It's instead of supercharging, they just swap the battery for a charged battery.
Yeah. Tesla was in its infancy was thinking of that at one point when they first started off in 2009 or 2010, before the S ever came out. I think they quickly abandoned that because they realized they don't need to, right? Let's just do a supercharging network, a vast network all across the place, and we don't have to worry about that, which I think is smart. Not to say that Neo's doing the wrong thing. They're doing pretty good over there in China.
China has different needs than here. Sure. You know, everyone lives in apartments. They don't have access to home charging necessarily, things like that. Yeah, very true. As for the battery there, I don't think Tesla's ever going to offer an option to switch to a different battery or a new battery. And I have a story to go along with that. I mean, BMW, when they came out with the i3 back in 2014, they said, oh yeah, we're going to offer battery swaps in the future so you can upgrade batteries. And they promised everyone, right? They're like, if you buy an i3 now, we know the battery is not great. You can swap it in the future. And when the future came, you know, you go 3 or 4 years down the road, people go, okay, I'd like to swap my battery. And BMW goes, no, we're not doing that. And, you know, it's just something they say at the time to sell cars, and then down in the future, it changes. And, you know, same thing with Nissan and the Chatham port. They were talking about doing vehicle to grid, and they were going, oh yeah, we're going to do vehicle to grid. It'll be great. We're going to do that in the future. Never happened, right? Might happen in Japan, but not here.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Didn't they change batteries on the Roadster?
Oh, I don't know.
They upgraded the packs. Yes, they went from one pack to a higher pack, I think.
It was like the V3 upgrade.
Yeah, I think that's what. And they actually, I mean, they had so little numbers that they could easily say to the customers, "Come on in, we'll change them out for you." There's no way they can do that now with the volume they have out now.
Was that like $50,000, or I can't remember how much it was?
Yeah, it was 50,000, I think.
50,000 USD, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but whoever bought those cars, money wasn't an object for them anyways.
Right. It also made it a lot faster too.
Yeah, I was going to say, in the sake of the Model 3, it doesn't want to make much sense. Or a Y, if you're buying a standard range plus, probably the time you go to do that, you probably just buy a brand new car for the same price. They charge you to do a battery swap. So,
right.
Yeah.
So, are you good with the questions there, Franklin?
Yeah, we got them all.
Oh, cool. Okay. Well, we're one of the longer ones tonight, so we'll end it off here.
Sorry, my fault.
It's not your fault at all. It was a pleasure to have you on, Rob. Thanks very much for coming on. Like I said at the beginning, we've been wanting to get you on for a while. You have fun?
Oh yeah, a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Gonna get you back.
Yeah, we'll get you back for sure. Now, I would what I usually do. Tell them, I guess I say, where can people find you? But literally, they can find you anywhere because you're driving all the goddamn time, all over the place. But
I don't drive as much as I used to.
No, you're getting old now.
Yeah. 40 now, so
yeah,
I'm getting old.
Yeah, I told you you don't have to get personal. We're not going to ask you personal questions. We just wanted your credit card, right?
Right.
Remember we said that at the beginning.
555.
Yes.
Okay, keep going. I'm jotting it down.
But you're active on social media, right? Like you're on Twitter and you're on Facebook.
I'm on Twitter under High Mileage Rob. I'm on Facebook. I'm in all the major groups, you know, Tesla Model 3 Owners Club and, you know, Canadian Owners Club and the American groups as well. And I'm even in Tesla Model Y and Tesla Owners Worldwide. So I'm kind of everywhere.
You're in a Tesla Model Y Canadian Club. I know that.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. That's a good group. I don't know who the moderator is, but I hear he's a good guy.
Yeah, the moderator is Darren, one of the moderators. But you're talking about the admin?
Yeah, the admin. Sorry, the admin.
Let's not play this game. Franklin, where can people find you?
Daxam on YouTube, Tesla Talks on Twitter, and I run a bunch of the Facebook clubs that Rob was just talking about.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thanks for that. And if we're swapping things, you can find Franklin on almost any social media platform under Tesla Motherfunker. Or is it Motherfunker? See, I'm trying to do yours now. I don't even have it right.
Twitter, M Frunker, YouTube, Motherfrunker, Facebook is automated. I never check it, but I post there.
Your Facebook is automated?
That's right. Yeah.
You sound like a bot.
I don't even want to know.
I don't use platforms. There's certain platforms I won't use, but I realize the benefits. So I'll automate it so I don't have to go back and touch it ever again.
Nah, I hear you. Facebook can be evil. Anyways, folks, thanks for coming out. All the people in the chat, thanks very much for your participation and your patronage. We'll do this next week again, guys. Once again on the panel, thanks for joining me and helping me out tonight. We will catch you on the next one, guys. Take care.
Take care.
Bye, guys.